All right.
We're going to keep that in,
Yeah.
obviously.
Welcome, everyone, to the most ill conceived business podcast around, the Business is Bullshit podcast. I'm James Hornick. Joining me are two gentlemen I haven't seen in person in a minute. It really brings a tear to my eye. We used to be
Saw you
twice a
last week.
week.
I saw you last week.
Yeah, I haven't seen
What are
John
you
in
talking
forever,
about?
but yeah. Was it last? I don't even know what week it is,
Thanks,
but
bud.
it used to be a twice a week thing, like
Wow.
consistently, and we just kind of fell off that. Anyways,
I blame it on John.
yeah. So joining me, Jared Gibson, John Sarakis. What's up, guys?
Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah.
What's up, buddy?
Episode 19. This is one that Jared was pushing for. So let's hope that he did the research and can bring the pain on this one. Hustle culture is bullshit. Some filler there. Jared, just go. Go on the topic.
All right. Here we go. So, I think that everybody knows about the hustle culture, what it is. And James, you actually talked about a little bit, like it is like the glorification of constant work, right? It's
Yeah.
celebrating like long hours, always being like on, and trying to like identify to your productivity, right? The idea is you're grinding over every single second, like, and then you brag about it, you tell people about it, and you know that's what it comes down to. I don't. I have my thoughts on it. I think it's kind of this hustle culture is kind of a cop out. It's a defense mechanism. I view it as a defense mechanism. I know plenty of people that are like all in on the hustle culture, but it's a defense mechanism. People like who brag about how hard they work and how busy they are at the end of the day, I honestly think are just scared, scared of like slowing down or being exposed, and they're terrified to find out like that working smarter actually may make their constant grind look pointless. So, I mean, I could go on and on about it, but I've seen it on LinkedIn. I see people talking about it all the time. Like, you know, it's just I think it sucks, and you see it in multiple industries, and we can go through all the different industries that typically you see this hustle culture in. But I think we need to call it out and take a big fat dump on it today.
All right.
Yeah. All right. I think that's a good setup.
So in case you're not clear, some examples of it, like tech founders who are sleeping under their desks or talking about how they do that, if they actually do or not. Sales. I think tech founders, sales bros are definitely one of the biggest ones. You know, like calling out their how hard they work, how hard they grind, 12 hours a day standard. It's the price of winning, all that kind of bullshit. People who say they haven't had a vacation in 3 years when they're a founder, you know, and bragging about like how hard they've been going at it. I also think it kind of gets down to like an employee level even. So like companies building internal cultures where being constantly available is like equated with commitment to the job, and or being expected to like answer Slack messages all into the night or like those types of things. And I think it's here's the thing. I don't see this as much as I used to, not because it doesn't exist as much, but because I just stopped following LinkedIn because I think a lot of this is nonsense. But it's just insane to me when people kind of pump up this type of behavior as like engagement bait and they need validation. And I also don't think most of it's real. I think it's people just like bullshitting us because they're trying to virtue signal like how much better they are because they outwork everyone else. And for all we know, these people are half of them are failures anyway. They're not even any good at their job or having any results they claim. But
I, I, I think a few points here. One, to what Jared is saying, I think some people are hiding because they're afraid to actually figure out who they are and they don't have any hobbies, and that's okay. You know, they can fill their time with work, and there's nothing wrong with that. But then to like look for credit or validation from other people, I think is a little bit absurd. But I think on the flip side of that, there is something to say about being obsessed about something to get it to a specific goal. And that's good. I think you wouldn't have certain companies or there wouldn't be certain achievements that were made on account of that. But when somebody's bragging about that, that to me is just absolutely fucking ridiculous. I mean, it's like, like was Steve Jobs like, talking about how late he was staying up, working on the presentations before the Mac shows or anything
Yeah.
like that. So yeah. And also you have like Gary V, like work 18 hours a day and then go to where does he fucking go? Like flea markets and yard sales and shit like that. And then for me, I remember when I was starting out and in the agency space, there was this guy named Jordan Zimmerman. Have you guys heard of this guy?
Yeah.
At the time, yeah, he had like the 16th largest agency or something like that. Well, he had a blog that, and I've actually met him, or I mean, we've had some phone calls and whatnot. He's actually a very nice guy. But he had this blog like, "You'll sleep when you die." Well, he's on the spectrum for being a genetic freak, where he only has to sleep like 2 hours a night. So
Yeah. I wish I had that.
yeah, me too, man. Yeah, I don't. I need that extra 6 hours.
Yeah.
So I think there's also something to say about certain individuals that they have, this uniqueness about them that they try to then espouse that others should also just have this, and that's not the case. I mean, it's like Superman saying, "Yeah, man, just burn everything with your laser eyes." It's like, well, it doesn't fucking work that way because none of us have that.
Yeah. John, goddamn, your analogies are always good. It's I do think that you've got people that do work all those hours. James, you kind of hit on this, but it's the bragging that comes at the end of the day. And I honestly think that hustle culture, the people that are hustling and bragging about it, it's just a fucking shield at the end of the day. If you're always busy and you never have to actually confront the truth, it's either that your strategy sucks and isn't working, your team fucking hates you, or you have no real system and you've just built yourself into like every single process that is going to fail, because at any point in time, if you want to jump away from that process, you've dug that hole so deep that there's no way to get out of it. And that's where you see the massive amount of burnout come in with a lot of these people that are all about the hustle culture. And they wear it like it's a fucking badge, like the busy badge.
I think this is a bigger, this is tangentially related. There's so many people that confuse results or productivity with busyness with productivity, because they're doing things they think are like productive, but like productivity is it's all about the actual results. You know what I mean? What are you actually getting out of it?
That's a good point.
If it takes you 8 hours to finish a task that someone else can finish in 4, that means you're a fucking idiot. Not that you're good because you've been grinding so hard.
So you're right. If you're busy, you suck at time management, is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's output. You're ineffective. There's no performance with being, busy, right? Like what is the output of what you're doing? And I think a lot of people are just lying to themselves about that. Like you said, they're using it as a shield, or they're just looking for that attention.
I think that these people should be replaced by AI.
Well, but here's the thing. I think they need to be honest with themselves about what's going on, because they probably have a shit business model, right? Or they have some other type of problem that they're running from in their life. And these people say like, "Oh man, rise and grind," or, work and crush it. And ultimately, all that does is get you further away from whatever it is that's going to make you happy. It probably is going to get you addicted to things like Adderall, caffeine, nicotine, or any of these, because people are like, "Oh, hey, you can get thing out of it." Yeah, when ultimately what they need to do is get some perspective, essentially get some outside thought from some others, back up from whatever it is that you're looking at, and get some truth there.
Yes.
I also think, in addition to that, it's the way the mind works and where you have your best moments. You have to give it space to actually be rested and relaxed. Like, you're not operating with your A game. Anyone knows this. Like 8 hours out of the day, you're not giving your best. But if you're able to expand, let's say you're working at peak productivity where your brain's functioning, you're working quickly and smart, and you can change that from being 1 hour a day to 3 hours a day because you're actually well rested, not burning yourself out constantly. Like, that's what's actually going to move the needle in terms of your own effectiveness and whatever you're trying to do with your company. I also wanted to look at this from the lens of, like, we've been talking a lot about founder mentality, or founder / influencer, I think, though, too. But I think a lot of this does come down to larger old school systems, like specifically like finance and Wall Street is probably where it's most prevalent. And if you've seen that show Industry on HBO, where it's like,
dude, I was just about ready to bring up that first scene in that movie, or in that show.
Yeah. And that thing is, like, I've talked to people and like, yeah, it's pretty real. Like, they run you through they wear it like a badge of honor when people started kind of in the finance industry, that like they had to work 12-hour days, 15-hour days, and that type of thing, is like, that's just paying your dues. And it's just like such a backward way of thinking, but it's been so ingrained in the culture. Because I think you guys can look, we're all old enough where we've seen how work culture has changed. But I think earlier in our career, there's probably more pressure in every industry for people to kind of work crazy hours as part of paying their dues. But that hasn't gone away everywhere, And I think that it kind of, so it's not just founder influencer bro. There are still some industries where that's just kind of expected. And if you can't do it, you're not good enough for the organization. Um, and then I also think, not to go back to our episode, like the third thing is not to go back to our episode on influencers, but there absolutely are people that use it as a gimmick to help them sell bullshit. They talk about, yeah, course selling, like
Grant
house.
Cardone,
Yeah,
10x it, bro. Just you got to do it 10x. You got to go 10x, and you can buy some apartments. Nobody should be buying a home. Just 10x it. And you're like, dude, like what the fuck is that? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's the worst strategy ever. You're gonna 10x. You're gonna do it 10 times harder than somebody else.
I mean,
No.
that guy is literally the fucking epitome of what we're talking about
Yeah.
today. Like he sits at the top. He's the king of this mountain of this like hustle culture, and people just eat up everything that he says, everything that he does.
He doesn't make his money off the shit he talks about. He makes his money selling people, and it's to like bullshit courses to people. And shout out to Mike Winnett, who I think I sent you guys. I don't, if people don't know Mike Winnett is, Google entrepreneur, because I think he actually invented the term. He did a bunch of behind the scenes exposés about all these kind of like influencers who like sell courses to people who are struggling and whatnot, which is really what it comes down to. Like they use people's wishful identification. Like, I'm going to pretend to be super rich and here's how I did it. So other people who want to be this rich follow my bullshit formula, and people eat it up because they're desperate, they're struggling in life and whatever. And just work hard and you get this, feels like such a natural human thing. If you work hard, you're gonna get better result, but like it's just not actually true.
Yeah. I mean, quite define work hard. Like, is working hard a bad thing? Because I don't necessarily think working hard's a bad thing. I don't think we're dumping on the fact that if you work your fucking ass off, and sometimes that means working 80 hours a week,
Yeah,
right? That you
I might
can
have said the wrong
succeed.
thing. Just go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, no, and I've done that. I've done.
Are you Wait, are you bragging about this right now?
No, I've toiled on things like for a really long time and worked like insane amounts of time. Had some things work out, other things not work out, right? Where to the point where you're like, oh man, I missed out on all of these different things, but I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah.
Like, so, and the way that I say is like, all right, working hard is where you're working a plan, you have an expected output that you want, and you're working toward that. If you're not doing that, then I don't know what you're doing. You're just wasting time. But I think if you're going to do that, and when I look at working hard, it's where when I want to quit and then I push past that, or I'm sacrificing something else that I could be doing while I'm working. To me, that's what I call working hard.
The thing is, though, is having a plan, and having a plan that's
Yes.
actually good. Like if you don't have a plan that's actually good, or you plan out whether that's your business
Even
plan
if the
or
plan
planning
is
your
bad,
planning
that's
your
better
day,
than no plan.
and then but then learning from, like, if you're not learning how to I guess if you're not constantly figuring out how you can achieve the same results with less physical or time effort, meaning how to like function more efficiently to get the same result, you're just running yourself into the ground. Like
I just had lunch with a buddy, right? He sold his agency in the early 2000s for way too much money, and he had clients like Amex and Delta and Turner Broadcasting and whatnot. And I said, well, how did you get all those accounts? He said, I just made a list of 10 accounts that I wanted, and I didn't stop until I got them. I was like, that literally was his plan. And then for each one they had an individual plan. Like, yeah, people aren't even taking something that is rudimentary as that to work towards something. They're just like, okay, I'm going to send out a bunch of messages today. It's like, okay, well, what is that intended return that you want to get from all of that activity?
The key, though, I think when you think about having a plan and you think about having a process and all this stuff and a strategy around all this, the most successful people that I know are working 30, 40 hours a week right now, maybe a little over 40 hours a week, right? Mm-hmm. They're taking off Friday to play golf or spend time with their family or travel. Like, those are the most, and whenever you see them, they do not come off as burnt out. Like, what's up? How you been? Good. They don't say I've been busy or I've been grinding, none of that. They're just even keel, successful because they have a fucking process, a system that they follow, like you talked about, John, and they don't need to burn themselves out and work. And maybe at some point in their career they did, right? Have like what you talked about, where you push through the being tired or taken away and like family vacations and skip those. Maybe they did, but today they're successful working 30, 40 hours a week and they don't lose sleep.
It's also the life cycle. Sorry, I know I keep cutting you off, James. So one last point. I mean, it's the life cycle. If you're building something, you're going to be doing that because you're going to be wearing many hats and covering many functions that don't exist. And you're going to be figuring things out, like building a plane while it's in the air. But yeah, if something's in like, and you're in kind of in a coast phase, yeah, dude, if you're not doing that, then you are running or hiding from something. For sure.
I mean, what I was going to say, John, is like part of your plan is to be giving yourself time to think.
Yep, absolutely.
That's
Reflection.
the thing. It's like, Jared, you're saying people working 30, 40 hours a week. Yeah, because they have which gives them other time to, like, in the back of their mind, either refresh or kind of think how to do things. I want to make sure, the other thing I want to say too, we might be getting a little off the point here. It's not that, and I take blame for this, it's not that working hard is bad. It's bragging about it, which is really the difference here.
Yeah.
It's the people that feel the need. So we're getting on track. People who feel the need for validation of what they're doing or who they are as a person or as a professional by bragging about how hard they work. There's something fundamentally broken about that mindset, yet there's something so seductive to it for people they're communicating that message to, which is destructive and annoying, in my opinion.
To me, it's like the equivalent of somebody bragging about like not eating all the time and they're getting like anorexic or something. You know? It's like, dude, like what the hell are you doing? Like just stop. Like nobody wants to hear about it. And
it's another banger analogy. He's good. God damn, he's good.
I mean, it's impressive. Like
I
sit up at night sometimes thinking about how he comes up with some of this shit.
Some of here's another hustle culture bro that I respect. I've read like one of his books, but I also have a lot of conflict with because he goes too far. He's like David Goggins.
Oh, dude, it's a good book.
It's a good book, but dude, when you run till like your toes are falling, like literally, that's a joke that people say, but like that almost happened to him. Like they're like the toenails are coming off, and like all of these things. Maybe in society we need some of these extremes to be able to say like, okay, like we can aspire to be that, but dude, like this guy has fucking destroyed his body, and I think that's a very dangerous thing for other people to even attempt.
Yeah, I mean, I think the interesting piece about Goggins is that we know his backstory. We know all the shit that he went through, and like what
I don't know any shit he went through. Give me the cliff notes here.
I mean, I haven't read the book. It's what He Can't Hurt Me, I think is what the book is.
Yeah. He was an overweight kid from like Indiana.
Overweight kid from Indiana.
His dad was I think it might have even been like in Detroit or something. But his dad was like a gangster.
Yeah.
Like what was the Super Freak song guy? Like he would hang out with all of those.
Rick James.
Rick James. Yeah, he had like a roller skating rink or something. But anyway, his dad was super abusive, and his mom took David Goggins and then left the brother, and then like they separated. Then he went to this like podunk town, and he like faced a lot of racism, and,
tons of racism, and saw his best friend literally get on the bus. When he was on the bus, I think it was his best friend get his head run over by the bus and explode and blood. Oh yeah, dude, the guy's seen so much shit. Yeah.
Oh geez.
Yes. Yeah, he saw a lot of shit, and then
this is all taking a turn.
Then he, no, his background. But then he got like. His whole thing was he was working at like termite control or pest control or something in a building one night in the middle of the night by himself, and he like knocked down a ceiling and he just got bombarded with rats and shit everywhere, and he's like, something's got to change. But then he joined like the Navy SEALs, he joined the Marines, he joined all the Rangers.
There's a couple different branches,
branches and everything,
branches,
and he just went overboard with it. And some of the stories that he tells like along the way is.
But his whole thing, which I think is one of the big takeaways that I think everybody should have, is we typically only push ourselves to like 40%, right? And then you have so much more that you can do, and I think that's actually a beneficial thing. Where if people actually want to achieve a goal, if you're in a job where you have something that is meaningless to you, fucking write it out. Enjoy as much time with your family. Don't get caught, sleeping in the corner. But if you actually want to achieve something, I think there's some benefits that you can take from some of these people.
I would say,
James, you gonna read the book now? You gonna read that book now, or you just like?
I'm working on
all over it.
I'm working on bullshit. I have to get around. Here's the thing: I really don't like reading a lot of nonfiction because I just find it kind of boring. Like I want like books that are. I'm just more. You guys know I'm a writer myself, so. But I am reading Bullshit Jobs right now. That's a great one. I messaged you guys this morning.
You assigned it to us.
I'm one chapter in. It's a banger.
I'm getting through the other Money is Psychology book. I'm not done with that one yet.
Yeah, we're gonna have like 10 podcasts out of that one. So, anyways, where were we? The toenails falling off. That was one thing I want to circle back on. So I hear what you're saying about like perseverance and pushing through and whatever, but I think it's also a cautionary tale that like there is such a thing as pushing too fucking hard. You know what I mean? Like no matter what it is, like I'll screw up if I try to analogy like John, but you don't want to lose your toenails during your day job. So that's ultimately it.
I mean, here's the thing. John set the bar so high.
It's hard. You can't pass it.
That,
I'm not even try.
I
don't
really
even want to do one now because I feel like
we all have our
James.
lane, and
Yeah, James, that was a good effort, but
it was at least it was a callback. So, anyways,
yeah,
you can't push too hard, and I think and some people do that, especially like, and this is another point I don't want to miss. The new thing though that I'm seeing with a lot of like founders and we'll just call like successful people is how to take care of your health and the importance that they're putting on with sleep and in diet and exercise. So that's the next wave that we're going to see. And there's usually an overcorrection, right? So I think some of that hustle bro stuff is really going to fade out, and then you're going to have these people that are going to live forever or die trying.
They'll make that a competition too. I don't know. The other thing I want to mention, last thing on this, is they do it and they brag about it because it works for whatever they're trying to accomplish. Like, people respond to it for some fucking reason.
Like Dorsey or Musk.
Everyone just latches on to this stuff, and I feel like most people read it and like, this is nonsense, like there's something wrong with this person. But then they just have so many people who, and I think it's wishful identification. People want to be as successful as that person, so they'll just, whatever they say, they're going to eat up because it helps their own psyche. But I look at it in terms of like younger people, right, that don't know any better, can get swept up in this stuff and picking up bad habits. People who are lower on the wage scale, low income, who feel like they've been left behind, so they're looking for someone to kind of lead them or give them a better idea or an escape, or just people generally just kind of just lacking in purpose or whatever, that need to achieve something or whatever. And they look at this stuff, they view it, they like, subscribe, and comment. They unfortunately buy the course, and that's the issue I have with it. Is it's very predatory at the same time too. Like, it's the people who, they're taking advantage of the people who can least afford to lose more than they're already losing.
Anybody can get whatever they need strictly just off of, getting a library card or just what's on the internet. There is no secret that any of these people have. All it is going to be is an amalgamation and maybe organized in a different way. But with AI now, dude, you could totally cut in line. Like, just, hey, I want you to create me a course just like this person, so on and so forth. It will literally map out that plan for you. Like, you don't even need to pay for any of these, overpriced courses.
Yeah. Fun fact, I showed up with stats today.
Boom.
You got stats.
All right. What do you got?
Stats today.
Who do you think you are?
All right. Yeah. All right. Ready. Here we go. Hustle culture kills creativity. Creativity drops by 45% when stress is high and rest is low. Harvard Business Review. By the way, I'm citing all this stuff too.
I like that.
Wow, yeah.
Burned out workers are 63% more likely to take 6 days and 2.6 times more likely to seek a new job. Gallup poll.
Sick days, not 6 days.
I heard 6 too. Yeah.
Did I say 6?
Yeah,
all right,
6 days. 6 days.
All right. Son of a bitch. Sick days. One study found brainstorming sessions after rest days yielded 30% more usable ideas. Stanford.
What's another
School
name for
of
brainstorming?
Research.
I always fucking hated that, even when I was a little kid.
It's like picking your brain. Oh,
Yeah,
pick your brain.
you know?
It's the same shit.
It's a good question. I don't know if there is a synonym I can think of.
Pressure test. Hey, let's pressure test this
You
stuff.
don't want to
No.
talk to a bunch of 7th graders.
Pressure test is like beating up an idea, not coming up with new ideas. But yeah,
Yeah.
I got nothing. So.
All right.
So
Yeah.
those points, the things you just mentioned, Jared, I think I might have said this earlier. If I didn't, I meant to. You have to give yourself time to think, but it's also when you're not rested, you're not capable of thinking at your peak ability anyway. And okay, I did say so. If you only squeeze out 1 hour of good creative time or good solid deep thinking time because you're too burned out, versus if you're rested, you can do 2 or 3 hours or whatever. I mean, it makes a huge impact, and I think that's. Thank you for backing that up with data. I appreciate that.
Hey, you got it, buddy. Whatever you need. I knew you were going to say that.
And along those lines, I think there's a discipline aspect that you have to have. That's super important. The more disciplined you are,
Yes.
the more you're going to be able to get done, because essentially it's going to be done for you because you're not actually having to work for it or think for it. It's just it's habitual.
I think it's the discipline to notice when you're hitting those moments as well. Like when I'm at night and I'm like put the kids down and I'm working till like whatever time I'm working till, like there comes a point in time where I just become like, I don't know what the fuck I'm even doing right now. Like I'm exhausted. I need to go to bed. Like being able to just shut it down and stop at that moment and go to bed and not try to power through that, because whatever, if I try to power through that, it's just gonna be nothing but garbage on the other side of it.
Yep.
So recognizing those like reset moments where you need to just take a step back, like get up, walk around, or go to bed or do whatever, because trying to power through it never ends up good.
That's tough, man. So you'll smash some things out after you put the kids to bed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like my
I got to
best
do it
time
early in the morning. That's the worst.
Well, I do it
time.
early in the morning. I do it early in the morning too. Like I'll wake up before the kids get up, because usually the dog wakes my ass up now because we got a puppy. So he's got me up at like 5. So I'll work until the kids wake up and I got to get them ready. But that's always good in the morning. But I can like just watch, like have like a sport, like a game on, usually a baseball game on, or a basketball, football, whatever. And I could just knock work out, like dumb work, not like strategic work. Like I need to be like, that's more in the morning where I can do that. But like just busy work I can knock out at night. But I need to recognize like when, like just to chill out, or like, hey, you know what? Don't wake up early today. Like sleep in.
Yeah.
Like
you got to listen to yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm old, dude. My body can't do what it used to be able to do.
Yeah. What it
Reminds me
I don't know.
I was
Remind me,
why I said
which
that.
Rocky
I
was
don't
it?
know why I said, I don't know why I said that.
Which Rocky was it where he's saying that to Apollo? He's like, we're like regular people now, you know, because they're old.
Yeah.
I thought Jared was going to go into like an ED ad or something. You know.
Yeah. No.
There it is. I knew that was coming.
That's a good one.
You guys sitting around a campfire with guitars. Hey.
Yeah. Let's talk about something really quick. Something I'm struggling with.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we've beaten this one up. This is a shorter episode, and that's fine. I just think that, yeah.
Let's see if I skipped anything here. Let's see. I didn't really have much notes. So
You had 2 lines. You said you had 2 lines.
I did. I had those 2 lines.
What was the other one?
It was speaking to like cognitive dissonance, right? Because people they want to do this thing, but they don't value it actually. Like they just logically think that they need to do it, but it doesn't make sense, right? So people will actually like the whole entrepreneur craze. I need to start my own thing. I need to do that. When they just don't realize that, like, no, you're just a solopreneur, so you're still just a fucking employee. You just don't actually understand what it is. You're not actually building something, an asset that's going to be able to enterprise that you're going to be able to sell. And that's the new wave that's coming on, and people don't understand. Some might be making a little bit more money. Others aren't if they're not thinking business. And I guess to anybody that's in that position right now, I think ultimately you need to just find your rhythm. And that's kind of what we've been talking about here. And it's, some people talk about balance and some people talk about harmony, but I think it's really finding the rhythm.
Yeah,
you lost me.
Yeah.
Congrats on.
Fucking edit that out.
I was gonna jump in with congrats on establishing an LLC. No, that does not mean you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I see that a lot. I do see that a lot.
So, but
All
don't
right,
you like
fucking asshole, Jared.
It was great.
Right.
It was good. It was good. Don't you see like? Do you feel like that people that brag about this stuff do it because that's what they've seen other people do, and they think that that's the key to success is by
but I know some people that just like, oh man, I just started my thing. I'm like a girl boss now or whatever. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, you didn't have Oprah, who's like the girl boss. The girl boss is like crushing it, screaming that shit. I think people are just constantly looking for engagement and validation from others. And
that's a whole separate conversation that we can have. People that constantly seek validation. There's so many founders or people that I see on LinkedIn that fucking post pictures of their cars. There's one dude, I'm not even going to say his name, runs what's called a marketing software company.
Where's the company at?
I don't know where it's out of.
Yeah.
But
what's the company do? What's the company's name?
Yeah. What's his hairstyle?
Not going there, but I cannot stand this dude. I don't follow him anymore on LinkedIn, so I don't know what he's posting now. But the last poster, I was like, this is fucking done. He talked about flying or driving down to Florida to pick up his 2 Porsches, and then having his buddies with him to drive. You know who it is?
Oh, who is it?
His buddies with him to drive
I know what
him
company
back.
it is.
And I'm just like, this guy's. I can't. This is
dude. That's like a comedian.
I've heard Jared bitch about this company
jokes
before
anymore because they're just so far removed from like the common person, you know?
Dude, this is like anybody. He literally posted this, and I'm like, in what world would any human being say like, this is so cool? Like, this is, I mean, I want to work with these guys, or I want to go work for that guy. Like, just
real quick.
clown.
Do you guys
Jared's,
think like
Jared's
parents...
talking about Seamless.
God damn it, James.
Boom. Do you think that his parents like loved him too much, or they didn't love him enough? You know what I mean? To like, who brags like that? Like, that's just insane. Like, you know, it's just like, bro, dude, here's my Ferrari. Oh, you fuckers that'll never afford one. Like that post. You know, like, what the fuck? You know? I don't know.
I found it.
Oh, that's good.
I find it fascinating from not to go on science, I find it fascinating from an evolutionary perspective how many things we haven't evolved out of, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of bad behavior. Like, you would think at some point, someone who has that, like, Brago gene where they just have to constantly, you'd think at some point, like, in the caveman era, those people would have gotten, like, beaten to death with, like, rocks and sticks, and they would have not, like, no, they didn't. They lasted somehow, and they're still here.
Stop being a tool.
Yeah,
Stop being a tool.
I'm kind of being serious.
Tool
like,
out of people.
It is fascinating how many aspects of bad behavior we still have because our ancestors from thousands of years ago just were okay with it. I don't know.
What do you think that, like, in a primitive stage, though, like, would that person, like, have the best flint where they're starting the best fires? You know? They're like, hey, look at that. You know, like, holding that in front of everybody else, you know? They're like, oh, yeah, you know, Rockham, he has best flint. You know, yeah, we like him. You know?
Rocco.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, like, yeah,
Yeah,
I guess that would be the equivalent, you know? Yeah.
That guy was a
Look
tool.
at this club.
That guy was
Look
a tool.
at this. You know, it's great.
I guess when your language skills aren't very developed, it's hard to brag. So, you know,
I guess you're
Would have happened.
peacocking at that point, though.
Yeah.
While you're walking around with your chest up. Maybe
Yeah.
that was like how that started. Like, because you
Yeah.
couldn't talk really well, you just
Yeah.
walked around with like beating your chest.
Puff it out. Yeah, you got all the stuff that, you know, you killed off animals, all kind of like sabers and tooths and, you know,
Yeah.
claws, you know.
This is a great.
You gonna
ending.
call it? You gonna call it?
Jared
I'm
wants
about
to
ready
end
the
it.
white flag.
I know,
I'm
you
about ready
always-
to put on the-
Jared
You
wants
always
to end
race
it
it at
before
the
I
end,
do.
yeah.
This is a first, everybody. That is a
No,
wrap
no,
for
that's good.
That is a wrap for episode 19 of the Business is Bullshit podcast. Catch us on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. James Hornick, Jared Gibson, John Sirakis signing off, reminding you that business is bullshit.
Next one is episode 20. Another
Oh,
milestone.
Wow.
the big 2-0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys.
Bye, guys.
All 10 people listening to us.
Yeah, it's 11 now.